This right here is my GT Slammer BMX, the one that took me almost all the way across the UK. But now it's time to say goodbye and find it a new home. So one last adventure on the BMX from Bournemouth to Newport in South Wales. What's another 120 miles on a bike that's just done 955 miles, eh? Over in Newport, I know just the person to get this bike to. Someone deserving. Mike from Free Bikes for Kids.
Well, it's time, nearly time to say goodbye, but I guess one more little ride is in store.
Setting off from Bournemouth this morning, I would make my way out of Bournemouth using the secret back trails. Today seemed like a good as day as any. However, today was a little on the windy side. Fresh in my memory how riding the BMX in the wind is, it's not that fun, let me tell you that.
Well, I haven't even started. Barely got into the ride and we're already saving people. What legends.
Our Kingston Lacey house ride. I'm Madeleine, I'm leading level 1 and Diane is backing up.
Awesome, awesome.
We have 2 new riders with us today and 1 seasoned rider with us today. Nicely put. And we're looking forward to a nice cup of coffee and thank you very much Josh for sending us on our way.
For today I have my own little mission to donate the BMX. The BMX obviously took me so close to the length of the UK, just shy of getting to Land's End, but I can't keep it. I wanted it from the beginning to go to a good home, and there's no better person than Mike from Free Bikes for Kids, who's over in Newport in Wales, to find the perfect person for this bike. It's going to be going to a kid and they can make some more memories on this awesome little bike. However, as we found out, riding the BMX isn't always easy, especially when there's a headwind. And today, as I head towards Wales, there's a headwind. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. But today, I'm just gonna try and get as close to Bath as possible and then camp. I am gonna go kind of off-road as well, because I've got to have one more little adventure on this beautiful little BMX. Let's go.
I have done my good deed for the day, so hopefully that will bring me some good fortune for the remainder of this ride across to Wales. And in some ways it did. As I made my way along the trails, I was mostly sheltered from that god-awful headwind. I'd make my way onto the North Dorset Railway towards Blandford Forum. The trailway is largely made up of sections of the old Somerset and Dorset Railway, which linked Bristol and Bournemouth until the 1960s.
Nice easy cruising along the old railway lines for a little bit, but once I get off of this, then I've got some hills as I head back over the Cranborne Chase. But for now I've done 20 miles. Got to try and do that another 2 more times though, at least. Got a rough idea where I want to camp tonight, and I've got the tent tonight, but I've got to get to about 60 miles for that, just before Bath. Oh, come on then, let's stand up and pedal.
Continuing along the old railway line, I was leaving the cloudy grey skies that I had started with this morning behind. The sun was now out, but the wind, on the other hand, was still howling. Eventually I rolled into Shillingstone, a quiet little station that's been brought back to life by a group of volunteers. It used to be part of the old Somerset and Dorset Railway, and now it's home to the North Dorset Railway project. With an old train now used as a cafe, it's a pretty little place.
Tailwind! Oh, it's so good. I don't even have to pedal. I stand up like I am the sail that I am and just cruise. I am going to stop in a minute and have some late lunch or early lunch. I'm not sure what the time is, but I reckon a pork pie is in order. Bloody boiling out here. About halfway for the day though, done. About 30 miles. Going to be coming around sort of Gillingham way and then back across to cut across one more time over the Cranborne Chase before kind of heading downhill towards Bath and that way, but another 30 miles. Oh my god, when I left this morning it was like a bit grey, a bit miserable, kind of thinking it was going to rain. Now it's just too hot. So now I need to go on a mission to find ice lollies as well, and my body isn't used to riding the BMX. I think I just got stung by either a wasp or a bee right on my temple. Oh, it's so sore. Hope I'm not allergic to it, otherwise I'm gonna have a massive fat face.
It's been a long time since I've been stung by a wasp. Luckily, I didn't have much time to think about that, as I would now need to start heading uphill, back over the Cranborne Chase. Even though the wind was pretty strong, it had seemed to move out of my face, at least for the most part. The challenge right now wasn't the wind or the riding the BMX uphill, but the sun. I'm not made for the heat.
Just coming back over the Cranborne Chase, and should be starting to descend down towards Froome pretty soon, which is good because I need ice lollies and water. I'm out of water. I didn't bring a filter. I'm very unprepared today, and I now need to stand up and pedal, but shouldn't be too many miles now. Probably another 5 or 6 miles down towards Froome, and I'll find a shop, and then another 10 miles max today. The problem is, anytime I need to go to Wales and I want to camp along the way, you kind of can't really go too far past Bath because it's all built up and there's nowhere really between there and Newport to wild camp. So let's start descending, get towards Froome, find some nice cold drink and hopefully some ice lollies.
Now that I was descending out of the Cranborne Chase, most of the climbing was behind me. I cruised down the long drive towards Longleat House, built between 1568 and 1580. With 128 rooms, over 40 times bigger than the average home, built with 36,000 tons of Bath stone, it took only 12 years to build, which feels quite fast really. 112 workers and cost just over £8,000, equivalent to about 31 million today. But all I was interested in was getting past the big rain cloud and finding ice lollies.
Ice lollies. For a moment there, I thought it was going to absolutely hammer it down. There was a big grey cloud, but I'm now in Frome. I've done about 55 miles, so probably got another, not even 10, maybe 6 or 7 to go until I get to where I want to go, to where I want to camp. Hoping I can camp there. I've never camped there before, but it looks like there's a bit of a woodlands, and then it'll set me up really nicely for tomorrow into Bath, onto around Bristol, and then over the bridge, and then down towards Newport. Once I get out of Frome, there's a couple of little hills, but that's pretty much all the hills. Most of the hills now are done, and I'm definitely feeling it in my legs. So yeah, ice lollies, a few more miles, and then hopefully be able to find somewhere to camp. Hot.
After the ice lolly break, I had to get over a couple of short, steep climbs, which the BMX does not like. And today, neither did I. The trails I'd head onto next were probably a little too optimistic for the small-wheeled bike also. But it's all fun and games at the end of the day.
That woods there is where I'm hoping to camp. So it's actually about 8 o'clock. So time has actually gone pretty fast today to be able to find somewhere to camp. There's a bit of a bridleway that goes through it, so just going to follow along that, and then hopefully there's some nice ground that I can pitch the tent up. I've got about 57 miles to go tomorrow, which is nice, and for the most part, at least in the morning, it's kind of downhill towards Bath, and then it's along the Bath to Bristol old railway line. It's all generally quite flat once I get down towards Bath. What a beautiful day it turned out to be. It started off all kind of grey and misty. It turned into an absolutely beautiful, a little bit hot day. Right, let's go find my bed for the night. The sun is going to be setting in about an hour, so plenty of time. Set up down there. I need to clear a few of the branches out, but apart from that, it's all good. Beautiful little spot in the woods. The wind seems to have died down a bit, but if it picks up again, I'm nice and sheltered. And tomorrow, oh, that sun. Yeah, tomorrow I've got just under 60 miles to do. I've said to Mike that I'll be there by about 1 p.m. So to do that, I'm going to make sure I get up as early as possible. Sunrise is about 5 a.m. So I'm going to set my alarm just before then and try and get on the road at sunrise. I might have to set a few alarms because I'm not that great at waking up that early, but we'll see. Should be fine, to be honest. I've got a couple little hills, but once I'm getting towards Bath, it's pretty much flat. So yeah, I'm going to make sure I wake up super early. Oh, it's such a nice little woods. It's quite hard to actually get to somewhere where the ground is like this, because summer's really on its way and everything's getting stinging nettles and it's getting nice and overgrown, but should be able to clear this up nice enough and have a decent enough sleep here tonight. Good morning. It was a really mild night last night. It wasn't cold at all. A little windy occasionally. Just generally a very pleasant night to be in a tent, really. Today is going to be the last day I ever ride this BMX. This epic little bike. It's the last day. I'm going to say goodbye to you. But first, I've got about 57 miles. The first stop is towards Bath. Got a bit of a descent out of here, so that's good. I'm just, instead of walking back through the forest, I'm going to get back to my trail, which is just behind them hedges, by going through this field. It's a bit easier. It really was such a beautiful night last night. Beautiful sunset as well. But the sun seems to be hiding behind the clouds today, which is nice because yesterday was a bit hot and I'm once again out of liquids. Next stop, Bath.
Today was the final day I'd get to ride this little awesome bike. The last time I'd get to sit on the saddle and feel like a little kid riding his bike. So I made the most of the cooler air this morning and just enjoyed my pedal towards Bath. I'd find myself once more on an old railway line, and speaking of feeling like a little kid again riding his bike, I'd be able to have some childish fun as I would be heading into the longest cycling and walking tunnel in the UK, Combe Down Tunnel, just over 1 mile long.
Choo choo! Another tunnel! They're so refreshing, they're so cool. Ah, it's so nice. This one's slightly downhill too. Choo choo!
After arriving in Bath, I'd be continuing along the same route once taken by some more old trains. Now known as the Bristol and Bath Railway Path, is one of the most popular cycle routes in the UK, and for good reason. Built between 1979 and 1986, it was Sustrand's first ever project and became the starting point of the entire national cycle network. The route runs for 13 miles through the peaceful countryside, old station platforms and beautiful countryside along the way, and it looked like today was going to be another sunny one.
Why in the UK, when there's a cycle route that's closed, they don't ever put a diversion? They never let you know back when you start the route. No, it's just when you get to it. Bloody typical. Hoping there's another bridge back that way. Just coming through, well, around Bristol at the moment. I've done 23 miles. I've got about 34 to go, so making good progress. Heading towards the bridge, but I do want to try and get some breakfast before crossing. So let's find a way over here, and then let's find some breakfast. As you can see, there's the bridge just behind me, and of course, just as I get here, just as I can see the bridge, what happens? What bloody happens? Got a flat tire. So close. Yeah, I'm gonna fix that and then we'll be straight over onto the bridge. Not far to go, but why now? Why can it just make one more trip without a flat tire? Oh well. I'm gonna either patch it or put a new tube in, who knows, we'll see. I tell you what, one thing I really do not miss is inner tubes. So rubbish. I had more punctures on this bike than I think I've had in like 3 years on tubeless. Give me tubeless any day. One new inner tube in. There's the bridge. Let's go to Wales.
With the bridge now in sight and only about 30 miles to go until I'd be saying goodbye to the bike, the sun seemed to disappear and the grey sky appeared. I was half expecting it to rain to really have the Welsh welcome. Luckily, no rain. That wouldn't be my issue this morning.
Oh, guess what? I haven't got another tube. I really can't bother to try and fix it. So we are just doing the old pump up and pedal fast. I've only got about 15 miles to go and I seem to be able to get about 6 or 7, so that's what we're doing. Oh no. Well, gonna have to try and fix it, but it sounds like it's coming out quite fast, so I'm not hopeful, but we'll try. With one patch to spare. Come on. You can't fail this 10 miles as well. Please hold, please hold. Not again, not again. It's gone again. So the legend that Mike is, he's gonna come and rescue me. This time, I only had 5 miles to go. So close. Oh well, good last little ride for the BMX.
Mike, who runs the Free Bikes for Kids, has been providing free recycled bikes to deserving kids in need for now over 5 years. Over 3,000 bikes have been fixed and rehomed. Bikes are now in 25 schools and dozens of local charities and clubs. Mike does this all from his back garden in the shed quarters. From old retro bikes to kids bikes to funky bikes and everything in between. Mike will reuse, revive and get the bikes back out there, because every kid should get the chance to have their own 2 wheels. So there is definitely no better place to get the BMX in the hands of someone who needs it and can go on their very own adventures. If you haven't heard of Mike or Free Bikes for Kids, then check the pinned comment, or I will also leave a link in the video description. Also, go show him some love over on his own YouTube channel, where you will get an inside look at what he is working on. What he is doing is amazing, so if you can help in any way, whether that's donating some unused parts or bikes to making a donation to his GoFundMe, or just sharing what he is doing, it all helps.